Here we are on a boiler change out here. We're going to change out this probably 40 something year old American Standard that's had a lot of work done to it over its lifetime here. It looks like someone put a spark ignition on it at one point and a vent damper kit that's been disconnected for a very long time, so I don't think this boiler is particularly safe anymore. It lacks a lot of modern safeties, so we're going to be swapping it out for a Dunkirk DXL, one of the cast iron Dunkirks, and we'll show you a little bit of the process. Well, we got the new Dunkirk put back down in its spot here. Remove the old expansion tank that was up in the ceiling here. We're going to put a modern tank on this one. So now we'll get piping it up. Just finished up all the water piping here, so we're just about to test fill. So we've replaced all the near boiler piping on this system, and so I'm just about to cold fill the boiler here. Let's give it a shot, and we will make sure we don't have any leaks. I don't anticipate there being any. Boiler is filling right now. All the zone valves are pinned open right now, so it will fill the entire house. You can get a look at the pressure gauge here. Cold fill, this thing will fill to around 12 pounds. Well, it's going to take a couple minutes. So I have the fill valve here, and it looks like it's set for about 12 psi. So far so good. The boiler is filling. Sounds like it's just about done. Checking for any leaks around these pump gaskets here. All of our solder joints here. This dielectric union. That's good. I think we're done filling. It's about sitting here. These aren't the most accurate gauges in the world, but looks like about 10. So success. We can move on to setting up the smoke pipe and the electric and the gas. So I'll get working on that stuff and hopefully get this thing fired off soon. Alright, just wrapped up the main voltage electrical work here. We got a switch. We're running through our 110 volt guard dog and then back to the breaker box. So what I want to do now is just sort of purge the zones initially here, cold purge, and see what if we can get some of the bulk of the air out, and then we'll fire the pump and purge it with the pump running, and that should get the majority out, and then we'll do a test fire on the burners and start letting the air separator remove a little more of the air bubbles out of the system here. So I'm going to keep my purge valve, my fill valve turned up here to under 30 pounds, and just going to let some air run through the system to start on the second floor here. So I'm going to open the second floor zone valve, everything else shut, and work our way through the zones that way. Okay, just turn the main power on. We're going to do a test fire and purge here. So you have to make sure we're in test mode here. Okay, so initial firing of the boiler. Still have to go through a few more tests here, check the gas pressure, run a combustion analysis, but initially looks good here. The digital display there is reading out the water temperature inside the boiler here as it rises up. We're in test mode. These boilers have a few different economy modes. We're going to set it up for 3 zones because that's what we are here. And probably set the water temperature for 180 degrees because we are baseboard radiation. So a little bit of steam coming off the boiler here. This is smoking the oil off the block as it's brand new. These boilers with this control board, in order to save energy, don't energize the circulator until 120 degrees. So I'm going to sit here and wait for the boiler to heat up. That'll trigger this pump. That'll get the water moving again, and we can purge a little bit more water off. Pump just energized, just reached a little over 120 degrees, so we got to 130. See, we're still smoking a lot of that oil off right now. That's normal. So I'm going to just sort of let this pump circulate a little bit and see how much air we get off of our air eliminator device here, how many bubbles we can get out of it. We did a pretty good job cold purging it, so I don't anticipate a ton of air to be in the system here. Got a purge valve here on the return, coming down to an isolation valve. So I'll just continue that process. Okay, so that pretty much wraps it up. Hopefully we showed you a little bit of what goes into installing one of these cast iron boilers. This Dunkirk boiler here is 83% efficient, and we replaced all the near boiler piping and added all the new modern safeties. Like I said before, this is a spark ignition cast iron boiler. So we got our 110 volt low water cutoff. I usually use these guard dogs by Donald Miller. I like them better than the 24 volts. I don't mind wiring in the 120 volt units. I like these air separators that Khalifi makes, along with their fill, which I really like, and the check valve built into the unit. So we have a new expansion tank. Got rid of the old tank that was up in the ceiling there, and we have our new ECM pump. So all that's really left for me to do here is go through, do a little more purging, try to get a little bit more air. You can hear this air separator working away here. As the air bubbles go by, this air separator is scooping them up and shoving them up the top and squirting them out. So the longer the boiler runs, the more of the tiny air bubbles we'll get out of it. And we replaced a lot of the electrical on this unit. I'm going to rewire these zone valves, go through and make sure those are all up and running. And continue along with a few more tests here before I call it finished. So hopefully I'll get a chance to show a video of some of our high efficiency boilers that we install too.